Well, hello. How's it going? Can you tell me your name?
My name is Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith. All right. Brendan Smith, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you ready? Are you prepared?
I am doing amazing. Like I mentioned a minute ago, had you told me that I was talking to you like a year ago, I would have said that you're crazy because I would have never expected this, man. I am so blessed. I'm so humbled to be here, and I'm just ready to have a great time.
Awesome. Are you a fan of Sequester? Do you have a history with it?
Yeah, I always tell everybody I'm a fan first. So this is an incredible experience for me to be here.
Have you played any games before of Sequester?
Yeah, so I've played in the mini version a couple times. I've played in a few different games, but nothing to this scale or degree.
How have you done?
So my first outing, I actually won in a unanimous vote. I'm one of the handful of people to ever have won the mini series in a unanimous vote. Came out a couple times after that, flopped a couple times, went far another time. So, I've had the whole experience. I've had a mix of everything.
There you go. Are there any twists you're looking forward to?
Ooh. I try and not think about the twists because that's an aspect of this game that I think can drive people crazy. And, the game is so unpredictable that, it's really important to me that I am adapting and I'm moving forward based on what's happening at the moment rather than trying to look 5 or 10 steps ahead because really you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Are there any that you're dreading that that can kind of screw up your plans?
Oh, I always feel like the highest even or highest odd votes are sort of a crapshoot, especially when it gets to a tie. Because, it's too hard to strategize, especially when you can throw a vote on yourself. And, I just feel like if you don't have a proper plan going into it and it does go to a tie, then you can really put yourself at risk. Same with the lowest number of votes that's not 0. I feel like that's a really hard twist to navigate.
Do you have any strategies prepared for those twists, or is it just kind of like you deal with it when it comes?
Well, to me, I haven't put too much thought into, what I'm going to do during this twist and what I'm going to do during this twist because it's all going to come down to who I'm playing with. And I always, keep it at that bare minimum, which is figure out who you're playing with, figure out who you can socially connect with best, and then go from there. I think one of the biggest aspects of Sequester is the theme itself. Trust us, trust nobody. And in my opinion, if I can game the game and find 1 or 2 people that I can 100% trust and have those, 1 or 2 separate inroads of information, I'm going to be in a much better spot than I would be, having to navigate a twist on my own.
Yeah. How do you see yourself as a player? Do you see yourself as the kind of person that tends to play from the front? Do you like to be somebody that's a little under the radar? Are you an underdog? Like, how do you see? Like, do you have the self-awareness to really judge where you fit in most of the time?
Yeah. So I think in a crowd like this, I'm definitely going to be somebody who is a little underestimated. I think people are going to come out here and they're going to take me for this sort of aloof, hippie-ish kid. And these people, all of them count me out as a non-entity, me as this adolescent follower that really doesn't have a hold on anything going on. And if I can get people to think that they can trust me enough to, I have Brendan's vote, then I'm going to flip the switch and I'm going to turn it on and these people are going to have no idea what hit them.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite player, either of Sequester or Big Brother, Survivor, that you think that that either you really like or you really relate to? You think you might play like them?
Yeah. So 2 people that I really like, and it's unfortunate because they had to go up against each other in the battle match, was Tori and Dustin. I think Tori is, excuse my French, just a badass player. I think she comes across as somebody who's super powerful and super strategic and well thought out. Whereas Dustin, brought that entertainment factor. And I think that Dustin had a lot of fun out there. And that's something that, more than anything, I want to accomplish. I don't know if I'm ever going to get a chance like this again in my life. So I want to make the most of it. I want to have as much fun as I can. And, at the end of the day, it's kind of a strategy because if I'm having more fun than every other person out here, who wants to go to the end with a Debbie Downer? Nobody. Everybody wants to be around people that are having fun. And this is a week long, so it's a bit different from the past seasons. So if I can really hone that in, if I can have a fun energy that people are drawn to, then I think I'm going to be able to get my footing and take it the distance.
All right. Has anyone ever told you that you give off like a Tyler from Big Brother vibe?
Yeah, I've gotten that a couple times, and that was actually one of the strategies that my brother Alex told me that I need to go in here and do. He said, "You're a young college athletic guy. People are going to view you in a threatening light when it comes to the battle matches. So you need to go in there and be best friends with everybody. Lock it down with all these people. Make them feel good." And I'm hoping that I can do that. I'm hoping that I'm hoping I can channel my inner Tyler.
There you go. Speaking of the battle matches, how do you feel about them? Obviously, there aren't any battle matches in a mini version. Do you think that this is going to be a strength of yours, or are you worried that it will put a target on your back, either because people are worried about you or because they're not worried about you in battle matches?
So that actually plays into exactly why I need to make great social bonds right away, is because, like I said, I'm a younger college, I'm an athletic guy, and I think people early on could say, oh, let's get rid of somebody like that now, because the pool to get chosen from in the battle match is bigger, lowering each of their odds of going against me. I'm a very confident person physically. I think that I can take just about anybody and just about anything. However, as we've seen in past seasons, it's really a crapshoot. You never know what challenge you're going to get. It could be, blowing ping pong balls on a table, or it could be, trying to get to the center of a block of ice.
Like dancing in a fat suit.
It's all going to be different, and you never really know what you're going to get. However, I am very confident, and I feel like having a strong confidence going into whatever it is mentally already puts you above the person that you're competing against.
Yeah, all right. So you obviously you're aiming to make it to the final two. If you don't make it to the final two, you end up in the jury. How do you see yourself as a juror? What kind of philosophy do you have as a juror?
I'm somebody who prides myself on respecting the best game. And, obviously there is that social component. However, in a game like this, it's for, quite a sum of money, at least for me. I've never seen that amount of money in my bank account before. So I'm an understanding person when it comes to something like that. If I get cut in a brutal, cutthroat way that I deem unfair, give me a couple of days and I'll get over it, and I'll be able to have a clear vision and view the final two probably in the most game savvy way. I also think that it's really going to come down to their self-awareness. I think a very, underestimated part of the jury phase is jury awareness and self-awareness for the final two. There's a lot of people that, base their vote off of, oh, I saw them do this in the game. Oh, I saw them do this in the game. I want to hear what they thought they did in the game. I want to hear what these people think about their own game, because, you can get somebody in there that played the best game and then flubs the final two, and now I don't even know if they were aware of how good. It's definitely a fine line to ride, but yeah, it's mostly come down to their awareness of their game and the jury questioning to me.
All right. Last question. You talked about being willing to vote for somebody that lied and backstabbed. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to win this game?
Yeah, Taran. Hell yeah, I'm going to promise these people the world and give them nothing. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to the end. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Obviously, that's easier said than done. But, I am going to do absolutely everything in my power to make it happen.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to watching you play, man.
Hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, how's it going?
Amazing.
Yes.
Every 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here.
Can you tell me, what's your name? How old are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Josh Abbott. I'm a 30-year-old bartender from Alexandria, Virginia. I'm a father of a 2-year-old. And those are basically the highlight points of who I am right now.
There you go. Are you feeling ready? Are you feeling prepared to play this game?
I feel totally in my element. You know, I feel like I couldn't be more ready right now. I'm ready to get this thing started. I'm super pumped.
What is your element?
I love social strategy games. You know, I grew up playing like Mafia every night for like 4 hours, you know, as a kid and early adult, you know, and just like any sort of social strategy game, like I'm about it. I want to be a part of it. I love puzzles. I love games where you play the people, not necessarily what's put in front of you, you know, play the people and that kind of stuff. So I'm so excited.
Are you a fan of Sequester?
Big fan. You know, seen all the seasons. I've been following along with the minis all summer. You know, got to participate in a couple of them.
Have you? So you played before? How well have you done?
So the first one that I did, I came in 7th. Basically went out blowing up my alliance and taking out the person who was running my alliance, and then subsequently got plucked off right afterwards because the rest of them got rid of me. I was in there with, you know, your Raidens and your Haleds and, you know, all like kind of the big names that have come out this summer, and I got out pretty early. I was like the 5th one eliminated, so didn't do so hot in that one.
Do you feel like you've learned anything from playing those games that you might try to apply to this?
I think the things that I liked that I did in the games that I played is when I was super bold and basically like, I'm not going to follow what other people are doing. I feel like the quicker that you can establish that you are a shot caller within a game, the better it's going to be for you in the long run. Because it's going to establish those later relationships that you're going to need to rely on when you get into the end game. Because people are going to want to keep you as like, this is someone I can roll with, you know? So I think the quicker that you can do that, the better. So I want to establish myself right out the gate. So
you're gonna come out swinging. You're gonna go for it.
I feel like I have to. I don't know who else is on this cast with me right now, but I have to assume that my profile is probably going to be smaller than just about everybody else here. So I have to play a mighty game so that if I reach the final 2, people are going to want to reward me with the win. So I don't think I have the luxury of being able to sit back or whatever. I think right from the jump, I have to establish myself. So I think that's my only path to victory.
I like it. Are there any twists you're looking forward to?
Ooh, twist I'm looking forward to. Okay, I forget the name of it, but it was the one last year where basically you voted on people based on how influential or how much power they had within the house, and like the 2 people at the top, the 3 people in the middle, and then everybody else was kind of in the pool at the bottom. I'm really excited for that one if that one comes up, but I'm kind of at a loss now for specific twists.
Well, are there any that you're dreading that you're like I hope I don't see this twist?
I think the most difficult ones to navigate are definitely like your most even number of votes, you know, those kind of ones where a little hinky vote here or there can really just blow up everything, you know? So ones that you really have to micromanage what everybody else is doing, otherwise things can be a total crapshoot. Those are the ones I'm definitely most nervous of.
Do you have any prepared strategies for any of the twists, or even just in general, like a specific plan that you have that, you know, you might, obviously you're going to adapt as you go, but do you have anything in mind?
Yeah, do you want me to get into like specifics?
Give me one of your specifics. What's your most impressive plan?
Okay, so let's say hypothetically, do you recall the one from last season that I mentioned earlier where
it was like the Knights in the Kingdom thing?
Exactly. So let's say hypothetically, like I'm at the top tier or whatever. Like I have to assume, because what was it? If the middle tier and the bottom tier, if the middle tier doesn't guess what the bottom tier is going to vote for, then the top tier gets automatically thrown up for elimination. Everybody shifts up. Mm-hmm. I'm on the top tier. I have to assume that at some point they're just going to throw it, and I'm going to get into that. I'm going to be flipped or upended anyways. So I should try to essentially get it to flip right from the get-go and get everybody nominated. So that way I'm not 2 people nominated in a group of 5, but 2 out of a group of 11 or whatever it is. So I think like for a game like that, the goal is to get it to flip immediately. So that way you're safe or you have the security of everybody else to keep you safe.
Yeah. How do you view yourself as a player? Are you somebody that I know you're going to come out swinging? Do you feel like you're the kind of person that can play from the front and can be the shot caller, or do you think that that's kind of outside of your usual wheelhouse?
I think that's totally in my comfort zone. I think I'm more uncomfortable having somebody else take the lead. I think I'm pretty good with thinking on the fly and coming up with good strategies. And I typically think that my strategy is probably the best one, you know? So I'm not going to feel comfortable, you know, having somebody else basically get their agenda pushed forward ahead of mine. So yeah, I'm going to want to play from the front. That's where I feel most comfortable.
Who would you say is like your favorite player? Whether it's Big Brother, Survivor, or Sequester. That either they just like you really like their game, or you feel like they play a similar game that you would want to play.
Tony Blachos, easy.
There you go.
I love the marriage of strategy and entertainment. That's that's it. That's the guy. So that's who I like, and that's who I think my style of play is going to be most similar to. But wait, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We will see. Okay, so obviously the goal is you make it to the final two, you win the game. But let's say you don't. Let's say you make it to the jury. You're in the jury. What's your philosophy as a juror? How do you view that responsibility?
My philosophy is that the best game should be rewarded with the win. At the end of the day, we're playing a game. We're here to have fun, and I want people who, if you bust your freaking butt to get there, I don't care how you did it, as long as you don't make it personal or make it ugly unnecessarily, But if you play your butt off and your ultimate thing is to have fun and get the win, then I want to reward you with that win. And that's it. That's all that matters to me.
So I assume that means that you are also willing to do whatever it takes, lie, backstab, anything that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. All right. Well, that's what I've got for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Taran. It was nice talking with you.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm super excited. How's it going for you?
I'm doing well. Very excited to talk to you. Can you tell me your name, your age, and your what do you do?
All right. So my name is Billy Williams, aka Billy CEO. I'm 26 years old. I am a music engineer, baby. So I can mix your vocals if you ever need it.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm a music engineer. Just opened up the spot with my best friend, which is pretty dope. So that's pretty much what I do. And I sell cars, buy here, pay here.
Awesome. How are you feeling? Do you feel prepared for the game you're about to play?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born ready.
There you go. You're a fan of Sequester. I know you've played before. How have you done in the past with playing these games?
I feel like I made it pretty far for me to be a virgin. And then, I made it like first time I played, I came in second place. Didn't know that it was going to be like an interview at the end. So prepared for that. Now I'm prepared for it. Now I know what I'm up against. The second time I played, I got to final 8. So, I mean, I'm pretty positive that this is the time that I'm going to take it home. I got it.
What do you feel like you learned from those times playing the game? Do you feel like you've taken anything away from them?
Yeah, like definitely continue to be loyal. Like I feel like loyalty speaks a lot in this community. And when people can feel it and see it and they know it's just true, your true self, I believe that they respect that. Also playing, I noticed that before I was a little bit shy. I didn't want to get into confrontation. I was trying to stay on the positive side of things. So that I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for opening up and speaking up when it comes down to saying names. I'm ready to pull names. That's something I was afraid of doing when I actually play minis. So I feel like it prepared me for this moment now.
There you go. What kind of player do you say you're like? Like, how do you see yourself as a player? Are you somebody that plays from the front? Are you like a team player? Are you somebody that kind of like goes along for the ride? How do you see yourself?
So I definitely feel like I am a team player. If I had to like compare my game with anybody's, I would say I'm a little mix of CJ and Tori. And I play a social game. I don't ever want to be considered a floater, but I feel like I'm going to be friends with everybody. I match everybody's energy. So, I mean, yeah, I'm a team player.
How do you plan on making your case at the end? You said you've made it to the final 2 before. You didn't win. Sometimes the team player archetype has trouble winning in the final 2 because you don't really have enough that you can claim as your own. Are you prepared for that? Do you have a plan for that? What's your strategy?
I'm gonna make my own moves. That's needless to say, but it's more like when I say a team player, I'm going to kind of try to get my Final Four early on just to have at least an idea, something, you know. I don't want to go in this thing blind. But I think I just took a blank, bro. I'm sorry. I was trying to answer a question. I'm sorry. But no, I feel like once I get to the end, I'm gonna speak with passion. I'm gonna call out the moves I made. I'm gonna make sure that I remember everything. I'm gonna be taking a lot of mental notes. I'm gonna be observing 100%. And at the end of the game, I'm gonna let everything speak for itself. Like, I'm gonna literally just speak with a whole bunch of passion, like preaching to a choir. That's how I'm gonna come at it.
All right. Do you have any like specific strategies planned for any of the twists, or just like in general?
So because I don't know what the twists are, I probably don't have that many strategies. But I'm the type of person that just, you can put something in front of me and I know how to adapt. I'm gonna be someone that's gonna adapt no matter what. I'm just gonna play, because I know if I think too much of it, I could psych myself out. That's happened to me in the past, and I'm not going to let it happen to me now.
All right. So obviously the goal is to make it to the final two, but if you don't make it to the final two, instead you make it to the jury, what is your philosophy as a juror for who you would vote for to win the game?
I'm gonna vote for the person that played the best game. I'm a strong believer on somebody who, if somebody went and kicked ass, if you played a better game than I did, you deserve to win. We're all winners. Me sitting here right now, I'm a winner. I won the heart of somebody. That's why I'm sitting right here. So I'm never going to look at it like I'm a loser. But I feel like if I'm in the jury, I want somebody who's going to represent season 4. I want to put that person as number 1. I'm not going to let somebody who didn't really play the game, who just sat there and just floated by. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let that person win. I'm going to respect your game. I'm going to make sure that you really made valid moves. And if your moves got you to the position that you're at right now, I'm going to obviously vote for that person.
If somebody really like knifes you in the back, and they really just betray you, and you're really upset about it, are you still going to vote for them?
I don't know. Depends. It depends. I don't know. Like, that's the thing I have a problem with. Like, if you stab me in the back, I made a bad decision before, and I'm not going to let my emotions cloud my judgment, because I voted somebody. I think I was that one vote that could have just changed everything for this person and got them to be the number 1 winner. And I changed my vote last minute because I felt like they didn't talk good enough and they stabbed me in my back. So, and I'm not going to let that, I don't ever want, because I felt bad afterwards. And I'm like, they did play a really good game. Although they lied to me, I can't sit there and say that, I got to discredit all of their game because of this one moment. I don't want to do that. So if they stab me in the back, if it got them to the point that if it got them there, hey, I got to respect your game. I'm going to learn to respect people's game.
All right. Last question. Are you willing to lie and stab people in the back and do whatever it takes to get to the end?
Absolutely.
All right.
Because I never did it before. And I feel like that's that one thing that I was missing.
There it is. All right. Thank you so much.
Back and lie. Ha ha ha.
All right. That's what I got. Thank you. Hey, how's it going?
Amazing. How are you?
Doing well. Very excited to be talking with you. Can you just tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Natalie, and I'm 28 years old, and I'm a global mobility tax specialist. So,
what does that mean?
I do taxes with international components. So
there you go.
It's really exciting stuff.
Do you like it?
I love it. I really, really love my job. So
awesome.
I'm very lucky.
There you go. Are you a fan of SEQUESTER?
Yes. I heard about it many years ago, but didn't get into it until this March. So now I'm obsessed and I'm very involved.
Awesome. What's your history with it? What have you played before?
Yeah. So the first mini I watched was the RHAP mini, and then I watched every weekend. And finally, I don't know what came over me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to play it. I'm really into these reality TV shows, these strategic games. Let's do it. Let's see how I do. So I played in May, and then I played a total, I think, 6 times. And so, yeah, I try to play like once a month.
How have you done?
Well, in the beginning, my first game, I really didn't know what I was doing, and I think I was just pretty quiet. And so the second time I played, I was like, you know what, I'm going to come out really aggressive. And I played a little too aggressively, and so I didn't make jury. And then just kind of from there, kind of the same thing happened. And then I eventually finessed my game a bit more. And so I've made top 5 recently.
There you go. Do you feel like what do you think you've learned from playing those times before? What have you taken away?
I've learned that actually spending the time to connect with the other players is super important. I feel like in the beginning I didn't really do a whole lot of that, but I still managed to make allies, and people would completely say, no, we're not voting out Natalie. People threw their game for me. And so when most recently in September I played, I focused so hard on getting to know everyone and making sure that they knew I was here for them and I wanted to get to know them. And I made it so much further. I survived twists when I probably shouldn't have. And so now I've learned to just, it's going to be all about my social game. I need to build social capital so that if I get put in a sticky situation, I can survive, and then just trust my instincts, because I think I have good strategic instincts. I just need to listen to them and not worry about everything else. Like this is going to be all about me, and just trying to win.
How do you see yourself as a player? Are you somebody that plays from the front, somebody that is like a loyal player? And then also, like, how do you think other people will view you in the game as a player? Do you have that sort of like self-awareness?
Yeah, good question. I think that I can be loyal. Usually I pick 2-3 people that I'm really loyal to, unless I can't save them anymore. But I don't know if I'm the most loyal player. And so I'm nervous that other players have picked up on that, and that might hurt me if they are familiar with my game. But I really do stick to like 1 or 2 people. So if they've seen that, then they'll like, maybe I'm that one person, you know? But I think my earlier games might be a little aggressive, and so that could hurt me, or they could think I'm a good shield. So it kind of depends on which games they've seen me play, I guess.
Interesting. All right. Who would you say your favorite player is of either Big Brother, Survivor, Sequester, whatever? Somebody that you feel like either you really like their game or you feel like you might play similarly to them?
I really like characters who have fun confessionals and are just really themselves. So Tyson from Survivor, I've always been a fan. Sequester, I love Angelica. She just cracks me up, and I just love how she plays. I don't know that I play like her. Dina is a Sequester player I really like, and I try to play like her, but I don't know that I do. So I try to pick up little pieces and adapt them to my game, and just come out. I just want to be as genuine and myself, because I think that will resonate with people and hopefully get them to like me more.
Yeah. Do you have any specific strategies planned either for any of the twists or just in general?
Yeah, well, I've studied a lot of the twists. I've studied different angles of the twist. I've listened to your podcast. So I'm hoping that I've at least soaked in some of that. I think through my game, oh my gosh, like one game, I played an LOS on myself and voted myself on a Dre ground. And like just knowing to do that, I think listening to other people's talk strategy, I think I have a little bit of my own instinct. So I know that if I just soak in enough, I'll be able to actually do it in the moment. But for my strategy, I really want to come in just focusing on the social bonds and really connect with people, figure out who I can work with. And then from there, just be as fluid and adaptable as I can be. I want to be able to push names. I want to play aggressively. I'm hoping most people want to do that so that I can like blend in a little bit, and then just really focus on my arguments if I get in sticky situations and trying to convince them that, no, I should be here. Like, I'm better for your game.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to go out fighting if I end up going out. But
yes,
win.
Are you prepared for like the Final Four? Like, do you have a strategy for that?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of Final Fours. I've mentally been just going in my head, playing it over and over and over what I would do. My Final 5 game, I keep playing that mistake over and over in my head. And so I think I'm ready for the Final Four. I think I've got it down, but we'll just have to see in the moment. And then who's there and who, targets who first. It really depends. So I think I know the Final Four from all angles. Like, I've studied enough. And so I hope in that moment when I get there that I will just, boom, know what to do.
All right. So the goal is to make it to the final two. But if you don't make it to the final two, if you end up in the jury, what's your philosophy as a juror? What are you going to look for to give your vote?
I really respect Under the Radar, but I think someone should win who was out in front. If they were able to survive, because that's a game I like to play, and if I can't survive and they did, like, huge respect to them. And so in the end, I would love it if a player was sitting there who was aggressive, who said names, and they fought their ass off. I would vote for them. But I still respect an Under the Radar player. I just think if there was an aggressive player there, I would vote for them because I think they should be rewarded.
What if they really burned you? What if they really stuck the knife in your back and you're really upset about it?
They're even more deserving.
Yes.
I can be bitter, so I mean, I hope I'm not, but that's part of the game. So don't make me bitter.
Are you willing to lie and stab people in the back and burn them?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I like to hear.
I choose the right moments if I do that, but hopefully I lie, well enough.
All right. Why are you going to win? If you make it to the final two, what is your pitch? How do you plan on making sure the jury votes for you?
I want to go through like the 3 components to my game. So if all goes as planned, I want to play strategic, social, and exact scenarios of what, like, this round I did what I did. And I mean, if I have to amplify that, like, I will. Like, I will do what it takes to win. And I think that I will be likable enough. My goal is to be respected enough to win, because I think that's going to be a huge, being likable and being respected. I think those are the 2 secret sauces to a great win.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to watching you play.
Thanks, Taran.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hey, Kitty. How you doing?
What are you doing? Why are you over there?
This is freaking nuts. Like, I can't even believe I agreed to do this, but I'm really, truthfully, I'm really, really excited about it. And it's been a secret that, as you know, I have been keeping for a long time. For those of you who, actually nobody knows, but I'll tell you now, the little secret is that Taran was one of the first people who knew that I was going to be on season 4. And the reason was I went to you and asked you, like, do you think this is a good idea? Like, I wasn't sure it was a good idea because, I can do a lot of good for SEQUESTER being a cheerleader. No one loves SEQUESTER more than me at RHAP. And I thought that, maybe it would be a better idea for me to stay, as a commentator, as a cheerleader, as a Twitter person for RHAP and for SEQUESTER. But you were, when I asked you about it, you were like, I think that's great, but nothing compares to you being actually in the show. Like, I think you can do a lot more good for the show and for yourself by actually playing SEQUESTER. And your vote of confidence, honestly, Taran, was one of the reasons why I ultimately decided to do it. And I'm glad I did, because I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, now I get to watch you squirm as you play the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this can be a lot different than a mini. Like, like, I know that I can get hot and heavy in a mini in a second, but, over 7 days, I would like to think that people, we talked about this, like, there's, podcast Taran and podcast Brent, and, like, there's the real side of us that people don't fun from me. And I think there are elements of me that are definitely real, just like on a podcast, but there's, like, always this loud. I'm not always this talkative. I can be quiet and introspective and empathetic, and listening to people is a skill that I've developed over the years. So I think those will come in handy in a game, not only for money, but a game that is a week long where you live with people.
All right. Well, tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do.
My name is Brent Wolgamott. I am 45 years old, and I am a casino dealer by day, but I think most people would know me from my more public position as a live feed correspondent for Big Brother at Rob Has Podcast.
Yes. So here you are. You're going to play. You've talked a lot of game on podcasts. You criticize people's games a lot. Do you think that your experience as a podcaster who watches and analyzes these shows, do you think that's going to help you in the game?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, my experience as a podcaster, first of all, anything I ever said on PodQuester or on RHAP, like over the past 6 months, like I knew that I was going to be playing season 4. Like, I've known I was going to be playing season 4 since like maybe 9 months ago. When season 4 was first going to happen, back before COVID hit and changed the world, I knew that I was going to do it. So I've made sure that everything I said on a podcast or any commentary anywhere was something that if people heard it, that it wouldn't come back to bite me later on. Like, there are times over the past few months where I've watched in the Sequester community specifically, especially in the minis, how, a lot of the big names get to the end over and over and over, and people do not take them out. They just let them sit there. And it got to the point where I was literally like, I am so tired of watching everybody suck the dick of every superstar in Sequester. But every time I wanted to tweet about that or talk about that, I was like, those chickens could come home to roost in season 4 of Sequester if I talk about that. I can just imagine everybody turning to me in the first round and being like, Brent, that thing you said about everybody with the big name? We sorry, but we had to get rid of you. So I didn't want that to happen. So I have made sure, not only as far as my commentary in minis, but like how I played minis. Like you and I have talked about this. Like I went into my minis that I played with a plan. Like it wasn't just like I decided to be real and a truth teller for the hell of it. Like I knew that there was a purpose, there was a method to my madness, that I wanted people in season 4, if they watched me in minis, to know that they could depend on me, that they knew that I was real with them, that I knew I wasn't bullshitting them. I'm going to stab them in the front. I'm not going to stab them in the back. If I'm going to vote them off, I'm going to tell them. And so I feel like that gives people a sense of confidence to know that they can at least trust me when I'm talking to them. But I might need to cash in those chips sometime later in the game.
All right. How do you expect them to view you as a player? Because you have been honest you've been very, very, upfront and honest, almost to, a detriment that you're sometimes a little confrontational. But you also, I think, one of the things you're known for is betraying Melissa in the RHAP mini. So you may have that on you.
Oh my God. First of all, I think that most people don't remember that. Okay, you remember that. Okay, I think most people don't remember. That was early. Like, most of the people in this community were not yet watching the minis when that happened. And honestly, like, I betrayed Melissa in that I never had an agreement with her. But, I was freaking bored. I can't imagine I'm going to be bored here. Like, I was bored in that game because we voted off 2 of the, more lesser-known people in our RHAP community, in Mel and who was the second person voted off? It was the guy who does it was Jordan.
Kalish. No, yeah, the other Jordan. Yeah, or maybe it was, I don't know.
Instagram Survivor, yes. So he voted them off, and I was like, the game is boring. I'm bored. I want to do something fun. Let's vote off Melissa. Like, that was the only reason I voted off Melissa, and you know that. So,
well, I know that. I'm saying, well, I don't know if anyone else does.
I mean, I can't imagine that that's going to come up. I think most people don't remember that. I remember that because I had to deal with the fallout for that for about a couple weeks. Melissa was not too happy with me, but everybody else, I think most people see me as a talkative, big target that they will eventually have to get out of the game. Like, I don't see people wanting to let me get to the end of the game. So for other targets and try to keep them in the game. And I can talk to you about one of those people because I had in the car with them on the way here. So I actually rode with Muna. Muna is playing this season on Sequester. And the funny part is, like, I don't think she thinks I'm playing. I think she thinks that I'm interviewing. Now, after she does an interview with you, I think maybe then the wheels will start turning. But I think she thinks that I'm here for interviews, for Sequester, for RHAP. I don't think she thinks that I'm playing. So that's going to be fun when that's eventually revealed to her. But overall, I'm looking for people who can match me in terms of notoriety, in terms of target level, in terms of threat level. And Muna is certainly one of those people. Like, I would take Muna to the end of the game. Like, I don't know if I'd sit next to her in the final 2, but I would take her a long freaking way. Mainly because I'm not scared of anybody in the final 2. Like, if I can get to the final 2, I like my chances. So I would take anybody to the end of the game, and I think she knows that.
All right. How do you feel about the battle matches? Do you think that that's going to be a strength of yours? How do you expect the people will perceive you in the battle matches?
I mean, well, here's a couple things. I think that, number one, the battle matches are gender neutral. I know that ahead of time because, Audrey has told us that. But people still have their, own biases about how they see things. Like, I know you've met me in real life, but I'm a big boy. Like, I think a lot of people underestimate, like, how tall, how big I am. I'm like 6'1" and 200 pounds. So I look bigger and stronger in person than I do in real life. And I don't think that a lot of people will want to battle me. However, I do think there is a non-zero chance that someone who is particularly irritated with how they got voted off decides to take it out on a big name, and there's no bigger name than me. So, I mean, now, to be clear, there could be somebody else here who is a bigger name than me. But as far as I know, I'm currently the biggest name here, and thus they might say, fuck it. I'm already pissed off. Let's make a name for myself. Brent, I challenge you. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to challenge me. I don't know the rules about, how battle matches are determined. But if they are able to challenge me, I feel like it could definitely happen. I'll put it this way. I am not manifesting this, so don't get mad at me, Audrey. Audrey's over here. But I think there's a non-zero chance that the first person who's voted off at least takes a look at me. And but maybe my size, my overall height, maybe they decide that they want to pass up that chance. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, you have been a big critic of many juries in the past. If you do make it to the jury and you're not in the final two, what's your philosophy? How are you gonna be as a juror?
That's really tough. I mean, like I've been a juror a grand total of one time in these sequester minis, and that one I really did try to evaluate like who played the better game, who gave me the better answers. I'm probably more partial to people that can give me a really great landing. Like if you can stick the landing, meaning give me a good argument at the end, I am probably more partial to give you my vote. And I remember during that mini, Josh Williams was the winner of that mini. He won by 4-3 or 5-2. I can't remember. And I gave him my vote there at the end. And it wasn't a foregone conclusion because I had worked with him in that game. But Anil was the other person in that final two, and I also liked Anil very much. But I ultimately voted for Josh because I liked his answers, and I felt like he was being the most real to me in the final two. Like, Taran, I know you know this. We know when people are kissing our ass. And I felt like that Josh wasn't kissing my ass when he was giving me those answers. So if people are kissing my ass, they're probably not going to get my vote. But if they're being real with me and they're giving me the answers that I want to hear, then I'll vote for him.
All right. Last question. You want people to make good TV, even when it's not necessarily the best move. So how are you gonna? You're gonna make good TV? Are you gonna make the right move, or is that going to be a factor when you're making your decisions? How are you gonna play this?
I think you can have both, but if it's a choice between the two, look, I admit, and I have owned this on RHAP in the past, I'm a total hypocrite. Like, I own it. Like, there are things that are good for the gander that are not necessarily good for the goose. And even though I preached about good TV in the past, that I may not necessarily make amazing television all the time. Like, I may care more about my prospects in the game. Like, Taran, I don't know if you know, but I recently got dumped by my partner of 15 years, and I need money. And there happens to be money at the end of the rainbow here. So just my overall personality, I don't think it's going to be possible for me to make that TV. I think that look, I have strengths and weaknesses. I recognize that one of my strengths is somebody I can be just generally entertaining. I can read a fucking phone book and people would find it humorous to some degree. So I anticipate that I will not have any trouble in the good TV department, and I look forward to making good TV.
All right. Well, good luck, Brent. We're going to be rooting for you.
Thanks, buddy.
And when you lose,
yes,
we're gonna be all over you.
I'm ready for it, but I will own my shit. Know that I will own my shit there at the end of this. If I lose, I will tell you where I went wrong and why I did.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Excited to be talking to you. Can you tell me your name, your age, and what you do?
Yeah. My name's Rachel Stearns. I am 31, and I'm a senior account manager. I work at a tech startup in Seattle.
Okay. Are you a fan of SEQUESTER?
Yes, absolutely. One would hope to be here, right?
Right, yeah. What's your history with it? Have you played before? How well have you done?
I played in one mini, and I did fine, I guess. I obviously didn't win, but that's the extent of my playing has gone. I've seen season 2 and season 3. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Do you feel like you learned anything from your experience?
Yes, about myself personally, things that I think that are going to be helpful to me. I think one, I've always known this, but the game helped show this to other people, I suppose. Like my loyalty is like number one. That's really important to me. And besides that, I think a lot of feedback I received or even thinking about like the mini itself is my ability to speak up for myself or sort of talk about the moves I've made in the game. And I think that I didn't do a good enough job of that in the mini. So that's something that I'm hoping to improve with this live game.
Yeah. How do you see yourself as a player in the game? Like if you were one of your opponents, how would you view yourself as a player?
Probably non-threatening, which I think could be perceived really good or really bad. I see it as a value add. I'm all for it. I think I would be perceived as somebody that's friendly and not threatening, so easy to work with, which I think is great for my game.
So if we have seen in the past the players who are not seen as super threatening, they might have a little bit of trouble winning a jury vote. Are you prepared for that? How do you plan to make sure you have a good case to make in the end?
Yeah, I'm prepared for that. I think that ultimately, if I make it to the end, I think my case will be undeniable, despite the fact that maybe I wasn't as vocal as some other people might have been throughout. I feel really confident in that. So yeah, that's really how I feel.
What's the give me like a Cliff Note version of your pitch in the end?
Well, first of all, I fully expect to be the type of person that is not afraid to say names. I fully expect that the names that I call are going to be eliminated. I think that I'm not, I am somewhat confrontational, but I kind of like to go with the flow and I'm pretty laid back and easygoing. So I don't think I'm going to be the type of person that's fighting for attention or to be seen as like a really big threat throughout. So I think my pitch will speak for itself because I do feel confident in the moves that I will have had made to get there.
All right. Do you have like a favorite player, either from like Big Brother, Survivor, or Sequester, that you either you really like their game or you feel like you might play similarly to them?
Yeah. Okay. My favorite player in Survivor is Suri for sure. Like hands down, undeniable. I'd probably cry if I met her. And with Sequester, I really liked Tori last season. And I'm a big fan of Kels from the minis. I think she is like obviously hilarious and confident and social and super fun. And so, yeah, I really like her too.
Do you have any specific strategies planned either for the twists or in general?
You know what? I really don't have a lot of strategies planned for the twists. Some of like the research that I did coming into this was that the game moves so fast and that, you have to be flexible and adaptable and change quickly. And a lot of times people go in with this roadmap and this strategy of what they're going to do to get to the end, and it never works out that way. So I really feel like that's my competitive advantage, is like going with the flow and adapting quickly. So I have not really prepared for any strategies, no.
Do you feel prepared for the battle matches? That adds another element that it doesn't exist in the mini format. That not only do you might you need to like compete in them, but also the perception that people might have of you, either as a threat or as a non-threat, could impact your game. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, I'm really worried about that. Honestly, I think I will not be seen as a threat. So I'm very worried about having that target on my back. So, which is why I hope to be more in control than the people that would be trying to get me out as an easy vote and as an easy battle. I think I'm not super athletic. I'm very competitive, but like, I won't even run to catch a bus. I'm just like, that is not me. So I'm pretty nervous about that, but I'm really competitive. So I'll do what I can and I'll try my hardest and I'll have fun and it'll be a close match, I hope.
All right. So the goal is to make it to the final two. if you don't make it to the final two, instead you hit the jury, what is your philosophy as a juror? What are you looking for to give your vote to?
Well, that's a great question. I think people that are unapologetically themselves and that back up their gameplay, I think confidence is huge, but confidence with empathy is really important to me. And, that's sort of what I'm looking for, is a little bit of humility, but somebody that is going to put their foot down and absolutely say that they played the best game. And I'm all for that.
If somebody is up there that really, really burned you, they really stabbed you in the back, you're upset about it, does that impact your vote?
Absolutely. I'm petty.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, especially if they're not humble about it, or if they are uber confident, that's like a huge turnoff to me. So yes, that would impact my vote.
Well, are you willing to backstab people and burn people if that's what it takes to get you to the end?
Yes, I do think I am. It's a little bit outside my comfort zone, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to try something new and really just see what happens.
All right. Well, that's what I got for you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, just well. How are you?
Doing well. Excited to talk to you. Can you just tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do?
I'm Katie. I'm 25, jack of all trades, master of none. Depending on the season, I've been camp director, ski instructor, and it just depends.
Yeah, there you go. Do you feel like that those are things that involve people skills? Do you think that is helpful to you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm constantly around different kinds of people. I have my degree in therapeutic recreation, so basically my degree is in adaptability. So I've learned very, very quickly how to adapt circumstances with different people in order to get the outcome that I want.
All right. Well, can you tell me your history with SEQUESTER? What do you got on your resume here?
Yeah, so I first started watching SEQUESTER when the Big Brother and the Survivor minis started, and then just got into it and figured, you know what, might as well apply. Became a patron and applied and played my first mini on 619. Ended up winning, which was super cool. And then ended up playing in Heroes versus Villains, and then a private mini where it was the 5-8 cast versus the 619 cast. And then played in Winners at War a couple weeks ago, month ago. I don't know, whenever Winners at War was.
Mm-hmm. What have you learned from those experiences? I mean, you won your first time. You haven't won any other times. What have you learned from that? I feel like playing now with a larger threat level has definitely been an adjustment. And I think focusing on those interpersonal relationships early, just because in my original game, I was able to push names really, really fast and strategically, and people listened to me. As my games had gone on, people realized and kind of clocked what I was doing. So I think what I've learned is, forming those close bonds early on is really important. I'm a big believer that a trio is better than a duo. I would rather have two people who I'm really close with rather than one person. And I've always had success with that. So yeah, I think just focusing more on, hey, this is why I'm great and why you should be my friend, rather than shoving my strategy down their throat. Is reputation something you're worried about? This that you're known as somebody who's won the game before?
I'm definitely a little nervous about that. I'm hoping I've decreased my threat level by flopping in my other 3 minis. But yeah, I'm definitely a little bit nervous about my threat level just because, I'm on PodQuester frequently and I have a face that people will probably recognize if they have, been paying attention to the minis or the PodQuester in the past couple months. So I definitely am a little nervous about that. And I think going into it, my focus, like I said in the beginning, is forming those bonds and showing people who I am outside of the game bot that they see. Because a lot of times, they see the 5 hours and that's what they perceive of a person. But I feel like I'm a lot more than what people expect. And I'm hoping with this extended format, it's going to allow people to see, the other sides of me and realize hey, she's the kind of person you want to keep around, even if we know she may be a strategic threat down the line.
Yeah. So how do you think people will see you coming into the game? How do you think they'll initially see you, and what are you hoping that you can eventually achieve to like give off the perception of like who you are as a player?
Yeah, I mean, so I lean more into the villain side of things than I do the hero. And I'm hoping that when people see and meet me, they see that, you know, just because I have a tendency to play a bit of a villainous game doesn't mean I am a villain. And I think with this extended format and the bonds that are going to be formed, it's going to hopefully make sure that people don't want to cut me because they're going to not expect it. I know that's bad to say, but they're not going to expect it because they're going to see, you know, the bubbly and kind person who, you know, is quite delightful, I like to think. And then strategically, but sadly, I will have to stab everyone and anyone in the back to get myself to the end.
Like a little bit of a Tony Vlachos, like, lowering the guard and then the sucker punch.
I've always said I like to be like Parvati Shallow, just where it's like lure them in. They think, it's like her first season where it's like, oh, she's nice, she's sweet, she's someone that we can keep around, and they don't recognize the strategic threat until it's too late. You won't realize that I'm stabbing you in the back until you're out the door.
There you go. Do you have any specific strategies planned, either for any of the twists or in general?
I think so. In the beginning, and like how I play my minis is I try to bot from room as fast as possible because I think it's really important that if people see your face, they're less likely to want to take you out because you're someone that they feel like they have a relationship with. So in the start of the game, if anyone but me strategy, where it's like Xander's trying strategy was like, as long as it's not me, that's fine. And kind of focus on forming one-on-one bonds with people so that like when they see your face pop up in a room in a mini, they're going to have something they know about me that they can relate to that forms that bond. And I'm hoping I can build off of those social bonds in the game, find one or two people that I feel really, really close with that I can run it with. And then, you know, ideally the people I'm running it with don't realize that it's very risky to get to the end with me because I'm very good at talking. And if I get to the end, I know I can talk my way into a win.
Okay. How do you feel about the battle matches? That's obviously something that's not a part of the mini games. And, you know, not only having to do well in the battle matches, but how people perceive how you will do in the battle matches can influence their view on you and how they treat you in the game. So what is your plan for that? How do you expect to deal with that?
I'm a little worried people are going to think it'll be easy to go into a battle match with me. And they might be right. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on what the match is. I am good at things like, you know, balance and agility and things like that, just because I spend a lot of time stand-up paddleboarding and rock climbing and doing all those Colorado sports. And I'm worried that people are going to think that pulling me into a battle match is going to be an instant win, just because I'm not very strong. And if it's something that suits my skill set, I know I can dominate and I can kick butt. And I'm worried that honestly, it might even be better if I can get into a battle match early in something that's in my skill set to make people nervous about pulling me into a later one. My only concern is getting pulled into a battle match that is something that there was like the dodgeball one. I have horrible aim. Like if I go into a dodgeball battle match, like I'm in danger because I'm just not good at that. So the hope is if I go into one early, it's something I'm good at and I can scare people into pulling me into one later.
All right. Well, obviously the goal is to make it to the final two. If that doesn't happen, if instead you make it to the jury and you're now a juror, what is your philosophy as a juror? What are you looking for to cast your vote?
I want to see someone who played this game with their whole heart. It's not necessarily like making friends is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not about making friends and trying to please people. I don't think I'll ever be a bitter juror. I'm not someone who just because you got me, I'm not going to be like broken up about it. If you got me, good job. I don't know how you did that. So I think for me, it's really important to look at someone who strategically has walked their way through the game and figured it out, because I think a lot of times we see people who get to the end of games who focus on, you know, I made a lot of friends, I was really nice, like my social connections got me here. And that's definitely a part of the game. But I also think if you can't back up your social strategy with the strategic moves that you made, I'm less likely to reward you a win.
I like it. Are you willing to lie and backstab and do whatever it takes?
Oh yeah, I plan on it. Like that's my game plan is, you know, like I said, anyone but me in the beginning. And then once I feel like I have some agency and some people to back me up, I plan on throwing out names. And if I have to stab you in the back, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. We can be friends after this, but I'm here to win.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna win. So.
All right, one more question. We've seen a lot of big alliances do well, especially in Big Brother lately. If you find yourself on the outside of a big alliance, what's the strategy? What do you do there?
I think the strategy when I look at that is to really analyze the dynamics of that group and make it very prevalently clear who is on the bottom of that alliance. And if I have to lie a little bit and say, I heard your alliance saying that they're thinking you, and to kind of pull those numbers onto my side, I think that is going to be helpful just because there's always a bottom of the alliance. And yeah, going out first is not fun, but it's also not fun going out fourth. Like if you're in an alliance of a lot of people and you're the bottom of that alliance, it's better to be the top of a group of 5 than a bottom of a group of 6.
All right. Well, thank you. This is good. I'm looking forward to watching you play.
Thank you for having me.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Excited to talk to you. Can you just tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do?
My name is Marcelo. I am 30 years young, and I'm actually unemployed right now, but because of the whole COVID thing, but I worked in banking for the last 10 years.
All right.
I'm in the industry.
Okay. Are you a fan of Sequester?
Of course, yes. I played multiple Sequesters, actually. I started off in May. May 9th was my first game, and ever since that day, I've been hooked.
Yes. How well have you done?
Okay, so my first game, I had no idea what I was doing. I never was on a webcam. Like, my whole life, I actually hated my voice. I hated the way I looked on camera. I honestly had no confidence in myself. So when I first started playing Sequester, that was literally my first day in front of a camera. And hearing my voice over when I watch replays and stuff, that was my first time ever doing that. So my first game, I actually ended up in 6th place. And I got myself out because I had LOSs and I didn't play it because I didn't know how to do it, how to play them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's debatable. I could have won that game, but that was Jacob Jones' win.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And I always tell him up till today, I could have won that one. I think that was my win, but that was my best placement.
Mm-hmm.
6th.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
You look great in front of the camera.
I have a lot to thank for Sequester because it literally boosted my confidence up 100%. I'm super comfortable now doing this kind of things, and I literally owe my life to Sequester. It's crazy.
That's awesome. So what kind of player are you in the game? How do you operate?
I'm a very passionate player. A lot of people like to say I'm very aggressive, but I call it passionate because in the games, I like leaving stories in the game. I feel like having different relationships with people in the game is very important. And anyone that goes against me pretty much is going to get my wrath. I do not hold back when someone tries to go against me or someone tries to play me. I'm very defensive. And I think that there's not that many types of players in Sequester. A lot of people play scared, and I don't play scared.
How do you think other people view you as a player?
I think a lot of people think I think a lot of people trust me. I think a lot of people look at me and they, I don't know. I just find ways to get along with people. Because of banking, I know how to create relationships. So people actually, when I play, they trust me a lot. I know how to build that trust with people. I can say that confidently that I know how to do that. But that is their downfall because I will literally turn on them in a second. I'm so sorry to say that. I know I'm not trying to
Don't be sorry.
I don't I'm not bragging about it, but I just love that kind of side of the game. I love so people trust me, but they should not.
There you go. Do you have a favorite player, either Big Brother, Survivor, or Sequester, that either you really like their game or you feel like you might play similarly?
Okay. The player that I like is actually from BB UK. I watch a lot of BB UK, a lot of celebrity BB UK, and I love Gary. Oh my God, I'm blanking out. Gary. Oh God. Okay, let me just rewind. I love Michelle from Big Brother 11. I think she played in Michelle.
There you go.
Oh God, no, I'm blanking out. I don't have
Michelle from BB11. Dr. Michelle.
Yes, I love her. I love her because she was super low key. She was definitely she got so far, and she's super smart, and she slided her way through. So she's one of my favorite players.
You talking about Gary Busey? That's the
I'm so sorry. Yes, I forgot his last name. Yo, he is my favorite player. He knows how to get people pissed off, and like he gets people pissed, and he'll just walk away. No one ever stays mad at him, and I really recommend you watch his videos because he's hilarious, and he's just like my ideal player. Thank you for saving me with that.
You're welcome. Do you have any specific strategies planned for the game, either for twists or just in general?
In general, it's kind of hard to come up with strategies because you have to know who's going to be playing, and I have no idea who's going to be playing. But overall, my goal, like my strategy, is to adapt. I want to be able to adapt every round, and also always have a target ready, like in front of me, so that I'm not the target. So pretty much having the target, that's my strategy.
All right. Well, obviously, the goal is to get to Final 2. If you do get there, if you do plan on betraying people, maybe that they might be a little angry toward you. That maybe that's going to prevent them from voting for you. How do you plan on making your case in the Final 2? How are you going to plan to win the game?
If I make it to, when I make it to Final 2, pretty much people have to know to separate the game from real life. Like, I'm going to have to just stress that this is all a game. It's nothing personal. It's just business. And I hope that's the only thing. I hope people understand that, because I think that playing safe is so boring. Like, everyone, like, I'm not going to slide through. I'm not going to feel good winning if I play like such a safe game. I'm going to have to take risks. Like, gambling in this game is like key. I think you have to like be able to make enemies to get far. So if there's a bitter jury, like, that's just, it can't be. Like, we need to stop that. There should be no such thing as bitter juries. Like, it just gets away from the game. Like, the game is meant to be like cutthroat. Like, come on. And that's going to be my argument.
All right. So if you're in the jury, what's your philosophy? You're going to vote for the best player.
Yes. Overall best player, in my opinion. And I love an underdog story. So that's going to be something that I would lean towards, is someone that was an underdog between the two Final 2s. But like, for me, it's nothing like, if this person took me out, like one of them like took me out, I'm not going to hold anything against them. I think that that's the smartest move that they can do, is to take me out if they targeted me. But I will not be bitter at all. It's going to be whoever played the best game, in my opinion.
What if they like really burned you? And there's really like you thought they were your best friend, and they stabbed you in the back, and you're really upset about it.
All about this fight. We'll fight afterwards. I will throw hands with them, but no, I will not hold it against anyone. Like, honestly, I burned a lot of people playing the minis, and they still bring it up to me every time I talk to them. But like, to me, and I've been burned as well, I honestly love it. I love being burned in the game. Like, if it happens, I don't want it to happen, but I will not hold it against anyone.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This is great. I'm looking forward to watching you play.
Thank you. And actually, one time I was in your chat one time, and like, my name is Marcelo's account, and you did not know how to pronounce my name. You're like, oh, Marcelo is your account. It's Marcelo's account. Like, and you're just like, oh, my bad. But I don't know. I just want.
It happens.
I always remember that every time, like, I see you or something.
Well, thank you.
Place, so.
Good luck, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, man. I'm looking forward to it too. So.
All right, how's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm ready.
All right, can you just tell me your name, how old you are, what you do?
Okay, I am Jordan West, mostly known as Jay West. What was the other question?
How old are you, and what do you do?
Okay, I'm 28, and I'm a FedEx driver. I'm a delivery driver. So.
All right. How has that been in the pandemic?
The pandemic has kind of been hard, but I've been cool. You know, I've been social distancing, masked up. You know, they hire a bunch of people to load packages, so it's just easier. But right now, I'm here, so I'm worried about that.
All right. So you're here. So what is your history with SEQUESTER? If people don't already recognize you, can you just fill us in here?
Well, I'm the first. Well, I don't know if other people are here, but right now, in my eyes, I'm the first returnee. So I played last season. That's my history. But I played in the SEQUESTER mini community. I know the game. I'm ready. I feel like I just got to learn from my mistakes, and I think that's why I'm here.
What have you learned from your past experiences playing the game?
Play with no regret. Honestly, I don't regret the moves that I made. I can get trolled by you guys over and over and over, and I can probably convince you today that it was a great move, and you probably would believe me. But honestly, I just feel like I have to just play it slower. I thought coming into the game, with it being like last season, going to it with it 5 days, I just thought 5 days would go like that because, a work week, you excited. But now with the time crunch, I try to just, have a big resume real fast because I figured everyone was playing. So I don't know. I guess just slow it down a little bit more.
Yeah. How do you expect people to view you going in? Obviously, they might know you from your previous season. They might expect certain things from you. How do you think they're going to see you as a player? I
think they're going to see me as a target or a chaotic player. And that's what I'm embracing. I'm embracing all of it because I know for a fact no one never seen my strategic side, my social side, and that's what I'm going to bring this time. Between me and you, I never got voted out for season 3, so I'm definitely going to, bring that up. Well, I'm not going to bring that up. That's just something in my back pocket because I have moves that I made for season 3 in a short amount of time. So I just, I have knowledge to bring to the new players, but I still have to recognize that I'm a huge target and just, play smart.
Do you have a favorite player of like Big Brother, Sequester, Survivor, somebody that you really like their game or you feel like you're going to play like them?
Well, I love all those shows, so I have a favorite player for all. But if we're going to talk about Sequester, I'm here. I love Cam Austin. I feel like she was a well-rounded player. Season 3, we came in the game together, but she broke me. Like, she's an attractive girl, but she can just get in with all the guys easily because she's just like a girly girl, but she don't come off as a girly girl. She can do that. And I feel like Jess had a great game. She kind of, in my opinion, I feel like she shouldn't have lost 7-1, or I don't know what the score was, but I feel like she definitely had the same kind of, resume, and she got me out with that fucking manipulate, line and sinker. So I got to respect that.
Yeah. Do you have any specific strategies planned, prepared, either for the twists or just in general?
Find a friend. I definitely want to have someone to play with to trust me because last time I really didn't have that. I was playing wild because I just assumed that everyone was playing with everyone coming to this game as gamers. So I just assumed that, everyone's doing their own thing. And I've just tried to one up everyone every time. And if I have a friend that can just like, yo, J West, calm down, or I'm with you this time, or someone I can trust, just one player.
Obviously, battle matches are a big part of the game. Not only just the competing in the battle matches, but also the other player's perception of your ability in a battle match. Either if it's bad or if it's good, either one can impact your game. How do you plan to deal with that? What is your strategy for that?
Well, battle matches, I have some experience in the battle match world. Obviously, I called out a target of mine and I lost. But in my opinion, I felt like it was a great battle match to show the new season or that's going to look at me as a target because we tied. He hit me once, I hit him once, and I stepped out of bounds. So I'm a comp beast in my head still. But honestly, man, I feel like I'm a great player to be here. I'm down for whatever. I'm going to call out anybody and just, still play calm.
All right. Let's say you make it to the final 2. What is your pitch to win? What's your case? What's the case you're making? Why you deserve to win the game?
My pitch is, a bowl game, and I feel like that's different from all these games. Sequester and all these games. It's important to know that this game is fast, so everyone is playing. But I have a bold. Everyone's seen that, so it's bold, and I'm, a returnee. And I'm social. People didn't see that. The moves I'm going to make, I'm going to try to align with bold players as well. So, the game is fast. So you got to be cutthroat. You played the mini before. So, people are actually playing, hard and fast. So I just want to have people cheer for me because I'm a bold player and they see the moves that I'm making. But I don't want to be too bold because I'm already a target being a returnee.
Mm-hmm. Are you somebody that is willing to stab people in the back, or are you more of like a loyal player?
Oh, 100%. I'm more of a loyal player, but I will stab anybody in the back more so because I know it's only one winner. And, so it's definitely only one winner, so I will stab anybody in the back. I'm loyal.
Until you stab him in the back.
Until I stab him in the back.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say you don't make it to the final two. Let's say you make it to the jury. What is your philosophy as a juror? What are you looking for if somebody wants your vote?
I want somebody to own up to their moves. If you were a snake or a rat or whatever, just own up to that. And I still want to respect the bull game because it's fast. So I want to see sharks and people cutting and stabbing in the back. But all honesty, I'm a social player. That's what I'm going to show you guys this season, and I'm very social. So I'm going to. It's all up to who's on the final two. For me, their relationships that they make. I don't know. Yeah, so
okay.
I'm being in that final two, bro.
let's say somebody really burns you and they stab you in the back and you're upset about it. Does that impact your vote?
Nah, man. I know it's a game, and I'm a respect the game. I love the game, and that's not going to happen.
All right. There it is. You're going to get there. You're going to win this thing.
Yeah. Last season, I definitely felt like I had it in the bag, and it was my season to lose. Like, I can bring it up over and over. Like, I didn't get voted out. I don't know. I don't want to dwell off of that. But at the end of the day, this season, I'm going to show people that I can play. And if I don't win, but I don't want to speak like that. But if I don't win, I'm definitely not going to be bitter. I want a great winner. And that's that.
All right, man. I'll be rooting for you.
Thanks, bro. Because last season you wasn't. You did not respect my move, bro.
Hey!
I'm a fan of y'all, man. I watched that shit. I seen that. But honestly, man, I trust me. I'm going to embrace the moves that I make. And I know it was a crazy move.
Well, look, if you make a wrong move, I'll criticize you, but I'll be rooting for you until you do.
Bring all the smoke. Bring it on.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello. How's it going?
How are you? I'm excited to be here.
Can you tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Spencer Brief. I'm 24 years old, and I am an account manager for a telecom company down in Palm Beach, Florida.
All right. Are you a fan of Sequester?
Oh yeah, big fan. Big fan.
What's your history with it?
My history with it is big fan, I'll say. I really kind of got into it at the start of season 3. Some friends of mine were involved with the season and just decided to give it a watch. Immediately knew that it was something I really liked. And at that point, knew I had to apply for season 4, got involved with the mini communities, and it's been a fun ride since then.
How have you played any minis?
Yeah, I played in 2, technically 3 minis. I was in 1 in June and 1 *2 in the month of July.
How did you do in them?
I finished at the 50% mark for both of them.
Okay.
11th out of 22 and 12th out of 24.
Did you learn anything from that experience?
Yeah, I'd say so. I learned that there's only really one person that you can trust in the game, and that's yourself. No matter who you think you're close with, no matter how close you think you are with anybody, they're always going to do what's in their own best interest. They're never going to put your game ahead of theirs.
Okay. What kind of player would you say you are?
That is a great question. There's so many different possible avenues I could go down for it. I would say, as far as what type of player am I would say I am charismatic enough to be a social player and just talk to people and almost be like, just everybody's best friend. But I don't know if that's the way that every game is going to work for me. But I think that as far as the strategy and the skill-based decisions that come with Sequester, I think that my brain is in the right spot for that. I think that I have that kind of calculated decision-making brain where I'm going to be able to easily not easily because I don't want to jinx myself, but I think I'll be able to roll with the punches that Audrey and SEQUESTER throw at us.
All right. How do you think the other players will view you as a player?
I think that it's a good question. I think that based on outward appearances, I might give off a little bit of like, hey, this guy he's a young, tall guy. Maybe he's a physical threat. So whatever that might mean for this season, I think that might be a first impression that people get from me.
How would you deal with that with battle matches in play? If people see you as a threat in the battle matches, how do you work around that?
Win the battle, win the battle matches. Try not to get voted out. No, in all seriousness, I think just try to downplay it a little bit. Maybe talk somebody else up as a physical threat if it does seem to be rolling my way, and just kind of have to see how it goes and how the environment of the game actually plays out.
Do you have a favorite player from Big Brother, Survivor, SEQUESTER, wherever that you feel like you really like their game or you might play like them?
So I'm a big Survivor fan, and I feel like as far as the game of Survivor goes, I feel like I would kind of translate into a little bit of like, this might sound not great, but like it might sound like a little bit egotistical, but like a Damabate kind of player. Just because I think that I have what it takes on the physical and on the like social and strategic side, but I think that I can definitely come off a little bit abrasive at times. And I think people can get rubbed the wrong way by me a little bit because of a like cocky attitude that I might have, or a overconfidence. I think that that's something that I'm going to have to keep an eye on.
Do you think that might impact your chances if you make it to the end? Like, what's going to be your pitch in the end to make sure that people vote for you?
I'm hopefully going to be able to let my game speak for itself. Let the decisions that I made to get to the end say, hey, look, I had to do some things that I wouldn't do in my normal life, and maybe you wouldn't have done in the game of SEQUESTER, but this is the game. These are the decisions that we had to make, and I hope that you can respect that I had to make those tough choices.
What if somebody but you really burned me? I feel awful about what you did, and you didn't even need to do it to get to the end. You only think you did.
You were just such a great game player that I needed you out of my way. I needed you out of my way so that I could focus on what I was doing and focus on what I needed to.
All right. So do you have any specific strategies planned, either for like the twists or just in general?
I think to come into SEQUESTER with specific strategies that you can make. I think with the ever-changing format of the game, I think you need to always be on your toes and prepared for everything that the game decides to throw at you.
All right. So let's say you don't make it to the final two. You make it to the jury instead. You're now going to cast your vote for a winner. What's your philosophy? What are you looking for if somebody wants your vote?
I want to look for somebody who just played a really good, hard game. I'm somebody who respects gameplay over everything. You can be you could burn me, you can stab me in the back, but at the end of the day, if you played your heart out and you earned your way to the end, I'm going to respect it.
And are you willing to do whatever it takes? You're willing to backstab people. You're willing to all of it. All right.
This is not the time to make friends.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you play.
Thank you. I'm excited to play.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Excited to see you. Can you just tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do?
Yes. So my name is Abdulahi. I am 22 years old, and I'm paralegal / international spoken word poet.
There you go. Now, I know who you are. I know your history with SEQUESTER, but can you tell me a little bit about your history with SEQUESTER? How you've played the game before? What kind of placements you've gotten in the past?
Yeah. So actually, my history, I saw the season premiere of season 3, which is what got me interested in SEQUESTER World, and so I ended up applying for season 4 back in I think December or January, and I went through that process. And then when COVID hit, of course, this season was pushed back. And so then I started to see all the minis, and I'm just like, whoa, this is really cool. And so I like messaged Audrey. I was like, hey, can I like do a mini without this jeopardizing, you know, season 4 and like all that? And she said, yeah. So I ended up applying. And I did not assume what was going to happen after playing a mini, and just the community and all the love and just my ability to play that game. Honestly, who I am after playing the minis versus who I was before is completely different in the sense of how I see this game, how I maneuver it, and how my game plan is maneuvering it this season in season 4. But yeah, in regards to the minis, I've placed 6th and my first time, and then I placed first in the Heroes versus Villains, and then I placed 6th again in Winners at War. And then I played the All-Stars mini. Shadows, I got 2nd, and then I got 11th in the All-Stars. So I've been a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah. How do you feel like you've grown? You talked about like you're a different person now in terms of how you view this game. What have you learned from your experiences playing in those minis?
Well, what the main thing I learned is, so before I was like, okay, this is my game plan. I'm going to come in. My targets are going to be the people who I feel like I just don't connect with, and A, B, and C. But now it's like exactly what Sequester says, trust no one, trust us. And what I think about that is, how I see it is specifically in the sense of the one thing I know Sequester is consistently about is change. It's the constant shifting and constant just change and overall. So for me as a player to come into this game and just have this one perspective of how I'm going to play is me just walking my way halfway out the door, because I think you have to be also consistent with changing with the game. And like, so for me, I'm in a place where I'm going to play in the front. I'm going to play in the back. I want to play both. I want to maybe flow a little bit. It's really depending on what the twists are and what it is that I feel is best suited, not necessarily what I feel like I got to be the same person. I got to do this and this and that, but more so depending and shifting, you know?
How do you expect the other players in the game to view you as a player?
That's the question. You know, if people know me from the mini community, I'm assuming they might see me as a threat. And however, I do think people also see me as someone who is who might be an ally. I think for me, one thing I go into these games that has been consistent is just being myself, and also portraying my values and who I am as a person. And I think that is what I realize a lot of people navigate towards when they look for allies, when they look for somebody who they want to connect with. I'm also somebody who majority of the time says what I'm going to, just says it all. I put my cards on the table. And I think people tend to also want to navigate towards people like that versus people who hide their cards and are constantly behind the scenes or like don't want to share anything. But I don't know, it really depends on the dynamic. I don't know who's going to be coming. And if I'm really hoping it's just the dynamic of people who've never played minis versus people who have played minis versus people in reality TV. I'm really hoping it's just a dynamic group. So I'm kind of in the middle. That's my perfect scenario. But if not, I'm going to have to shift my game and move with the flow.
Do you have any like favorite players, either from Sequester or maybe like Big Brother or Survivor, that you really like their game and you feel like you might play like them?
That's a good question. Here's the thing. I like a lot of different players, but I don't think anybody else has played like me. I don't think anybody else sees the game of Sequester like me. I think I am unique. I think I bring something different to the table, and that's also something I feel like was what people are going to navigate towards. And yeah.
Interesting. Do you have any specific strategies planned, either for like one of the twists or just in general?
I think the main thing I have planned is my social game. I'm going to come in there and be me. I'm going to be, one thing I stand for in my life is, be what you want to see in this world. And I think that's the same thing for Sequester, where like I'm going to be who I want to also ally, who I'd want to ally with, and that bring in the people. I think it's what I need to have multiple variables and multiple different can take to see what direction I want to take. And I think the social strategy is the key. But in regards to my strategy, it really is to change. It's going to change depending on the twist, and it's going to change when some I most likely will be in the front. Others I might be in the back. One round, someone might be my ally. The next day might be my enemy, or vice versa. Where one round, someone's going to be my target, and then the next round, I'm going to try to be allies with them. It really, really depends on the twist, and I'm open to that fluidity. And I think that's the core of my strategy. It's that fluidity.
All right. Well, a big difference between the minis and the live games is the battle matches. That not only do you have the opportunity to save yourself in a battle match potentially, but and compete in them, but also the way that people perceive your ability in battle matches will influence your status in the game. How do you expect that to impact your game?
In regards to me as a player, I think it's beautiful because, in the minis, when you're out, you're out. But here, it's like once you're out, you get two chances, whether that be, being competing with somebody who's been out and has challenged you, or you've been out and you're coming for the battle bag. And so for me, that gives me more of a chance to be even more bold, make even riskier decisions, because I know I have a chance. I have two extra chances. And so for me, it's like the reality is one person's going to win this game. That's 1 out of a 13 chance to win. The chance is already low, so why not risk it all for that win? So for me, I'm coming in bold. I'm going in to make moves. I'm coming in to set the bar high, and I think the battle back gives me more of a cushioning to do so. So in regards to how people perceive me, that's an interesting question because I don't know. I don't know because there hasn't been a Muslim woman who's played any sense of reality games. So I don't know if people are going to underestimate me. I feel like people most likely will underestimate my physical abilities. And that might be a reason why people will challenge me. And, I'm going to tell you straight up, that's going to be their biggest mistake. Point blank period. That's going to be their biggest mistake because I am a physical threat. And so if somebody wants to challenge me, they better bring their tennis shoes. So.
All right. Well, obviously the goal is to get to the final two, but if you don't make it there and instead you make it to the jury, what is your philosophy as a juror? What are you looking for if somebody wants your vote?
Here's the thing, because for me, before I played the mini, I was like, you know what? It's all about gameplay. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna be bitter. I'm gonna specifically vote on whoever played the best game because game respects game. But honestly, to be real with you, after Winners at War, I realized that I can be bitter. I can be somebody where when it came to Puya and Jacob in the final two, I voted for Jacob, and part of that was because Puya and I never really talked. I saw Puya's game, but I never talked to Puya. So why, in my mind, I was like, why would I vote for someone I've never really connected with? And so for me, it's, yes, game is important. I think game is the core of what it is that I'm going to be voting for, as well as, them being able to articulate the best. Who is it who played well, but also who has the passion, who really wants this is also second core thing. And the third thing is their relationship with me. What is it that they've had with me? Did they actually even attempt to play with me? Did they even actually try to even work with me, or did they just see me as a threat right away? And so I think those are the three core things, because at the end of the day, I respect and love this game, and I want the representative of this game, if it's not me, to be someone who possibly is better than me. If they're not better than me, I'm going to be better. But if they are, okay.
All right, last question. Are you willing to backstab people, to make friends and then cut them, to lie to people? Is that something that you do in the game?
Have you not watched me? But for real, I think that definitely is. That definitely is something that I am willing to do. I came here for business. I didn't come here first to make friends. I came here to win this, and I'm going to be fighting from the moment I move into this house to the last minute. I'm told that I'm out. I'm going to be fighting. And because, I don't know, to be real with you, someone like me my background is usually, even if they're even on this game, is seen as the extra or the supporting character. I'm here to be the main character, period. And I'm going to fight from the beginning to the end. And that is my story. And that will be my story. So it's going to be something to watch out for. So, yeah.
They're going to need to watch out for you. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. Long time no see.
Yeah. Well, I think people probably know who you are, but can you tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Shirin. I'm 37. I was on Survivor twice, sort of. Once in a bit.
Sort of. Yeah.
I work in tech, but I also work in poker now. So, poker.
Do you play poker?
I play poker, and I am building software for poker.
Oh, interesting. What's the software?
We haven't launched yet, so.
Okay. All right. Well, are you feeling prepared? Are you feeling ready?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. A good place in my life. I'm pretty happy right now, and I love Sequester. I love games. I love strategy games. So, yeah, looking forward to it. In a good state of mind.
Well, what is your history with Sequester?
So I was a big Survivor Maryland fan, and I knew that like a couple contestants from Survivor Maryland that I really liked, Holly and Chris LeCompte, played in season 1 of Sequester, and so that's like kind of how I first heard of it. And I knew of Audrey obviously from Big Brother, but I also don't watch Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
So like I knew like of her and like a bit of her story and then the Sequester story. And that's about it. And then during quarantine, there was a big, like Sequester really blew up, and there was that big Survivor mini, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked fun, it looked cool, but like I don't usually do Survivor alumni stuff. But then they were going to do an international one, and I love the international survivors, and like also really wanted to meet those people because I'd never met any of them before. So when I was asked to do it, that's like when I really got sucked into the Sequester community and found out what it was all about and the strategy and everything. And just, like again, like I knew of Audrey and her mission and all the stuff that she did, and like I always kind of like loved her from afar, but then I got that up close view myself. That
awesome.
Yeah, fell in love with it.
What do you think you learned from your experience playing the Sequester mini?
So I played 2 now, actually. I played the International Survivor one, and then I played a Middle Eastern one. And what do you mean? What did I learn? Did you
learn anything about like how to play the game of Sequester?
Yeah, I mean, so going into the first one, I was lucky enough to have friends to like run down like all the different twists for me and like get sort of give me the history of them. And so I was able to put a lot of thought into like optimal strategy going into the game. And so the funny thing is, going into the first one though, that was still when like pre-gaming was like I remember I texted Rob Sesternino and I was like, yo, I heard that you played and you did really well. Like, what do I do? And he was like, first and foremost, pregame. Mm-hmm. And I was like, me in the face. I don't want to do that. And so actually I didn't really. What I did was I texted, like, I DM'd Nick Yadanza and like I texted Steven Fish back. Steven and I are close friends. And I was just like, Steven, I don't want to pregame at all, but like, you're my ride or die. Like, let's do this. Texted Nick, like, hey, I've always loved you. You know it. Like, I just won't ever vote for you. Like, let's just. And then, and Kelly Wentworth is a really good friend of mine. And so when I heard Lauren O'Connell was going to be in our cast, I texted Kelly. I'm like, yo, what's Lauren like? And she's like, I'll hook you up. So then like Lauren was my other ride or die. And then actually like all the, like, our cast was split into nerds and like the hot people. Let's say. And like, all the hot people reached out to Lauren and all the nerds reached out to Steven, and almost nobody reached out to me. And so I didn't have to do any pre-gaming except when like, basically at like one point, Steven and Nick, like Nick in particular, like at one point DM'd me like a day before the game, was like, yo, I know you hate the pre-gaming and shit, but like, you've got to send some people some messages. And then he actually just gave me a list of names of like our other nerds. He's like, send them a hello. You don't have to like say shit. And so then like I just kind of got to know them and like and I guess that's something that I learned. That's my wheelhouse. Like my wheelhouse isn't pre-gaming and like prepping these things that aren't actually like meant to be. Even though like that suits this game really well, it's like this is not, it's like that part of the game is not meant to be played that way. Like you're meant to actually have connections with people and trust them and like have reads on people. And, you know, and so going into it, like not wanting to pregame, and I still, to be clear, I absolutely pregamed. But like, I hated it with every fiber of my being. It's just not,
yeah.
And then like, but I felt really comfortable like going into the game. And I also, it was clear that like I was not on anybody's radar because like nobody reached out to me. So, but like the nerds know I'm a nerd. And so they loved me. And like, Lauren is like a secret nerd. She's a total nerd. And so like she hooked me up with the hot people. And then during the game, there were all these people that I didn't know, but I'd like watched their season or whatever. And then I, you know, and it just reinforced this concept of like CPay, for example. You see, you pay. She's like a legend of the game. And she's not even on social media. So like she literally knew nobody at all going into that international sequester. And to the point where she voted for me she threw a vote on me the first round. And I still don't even know why. I think she just didn't know anyone. And then she heard, I think, so Jacques was like her, like, close friend going into it. And Jacques told her like, hey, I think that you and Shirin would really get along. And I think that's why she threw a vote on me. She's like, I don't know, maybe like Shirin's like close with Jacques or something. But then I ended up like in a room with her at one point and like, and I think she was on the block. She was flopped. I was like on the block.
Yeah. Like, just like up for a vote or whatever.
And like we were just in that room and she was, you know, I'm just not fucking voting for you. And I was like, let me just go around and tell people not fucking vote for you. And like moment where I don't even know what I said and how I said it, but it was like a moment where we just kind of like locked eyes through the screen. And she like, you know, she's like, wow, I appreciate that. Cause no one was really throwing her a bone because everybody pre-gamed, you know, and that's why pre-gaming kind of and after that, she and I were tight, and then people kept trying to come for her, and eventually we relented and had to vote her out.
Yeah.
But, and I had that kind of a moment in the game with Lisa as well. And then when I played the Middle Eastern mini, I had that moment with like a bunch of people. It was like, you just have these real moments with people in these games, and those are the ones that actually build trust. And I think that's like the best thing you can do in a game like this, you know, but also have like, what I also like about Sequester, like I feel like Survivor rewards the best, I'm going to say it bluntly, the best mediocre people. Like you got to slide through, be quiet, but you have to have like, you know, you have to have like a good body, but not a great body. Like you have to hide your, and then like you slide through, and then so you have all these like, you know, people at the end that all look the same, and like they've all been quiet the whole game. And like with rare, obviously there are exceptions to this, you know, like Tony, living breathing example, and Sandra, like the fucking goddess of the game. But like for the most part, it's like these, you know, milk toast people at the end, and then the best one of the mediocre wins. In Sequester, fortune favors the bold. Like I like that you have to actually have a point of view and a strategy and be aggressive in the game. You can't like if you're floating, then you're a much more of a victim to luck and circumstance, versus if you're aggressive, you know, in Survivor you get penalized for it like right away. Sequester you get rewarded for it. And I think it draws people to you as well, because it's another way in Sequester. It's like it's a clear way to show loyalty to people in Sequester when like the rounds are so fast. And
yeah. How do you think people view you as a player when you play these games?
I don't know. I think that most people don't really know me that well. You know, they know me from 2 wild seasons of. They know me from a bottom 5 and a top 5 season of Survivor. My bottom 5 where I was not treated like a human being, and so like they saw me as that. They saw me as like, you know, this victim of circumstance. And then in Cambodia, I was the second boot. And so, but I got this like super strategic edit. I got Vetus the fuck out of there. And then I was voted out for it. And so, you know, so I think from strictly Survivor fans who didn't see any of my Sequester play, I mean, on the flip side, at least like Survivor did, both of my seasons showed that I have I have a mind for the game, and like I know how to hack it. Like I hacked the auction, and like they pretty much never brought the auction back after my season, because I figure out ways around the rules to get ahead, and I think people saw that about me.
I mean, I think that's a strength to have in Sequester, especially with all the twists that come at you.
Oh yeah, like so for example, like the LOSs in real life Sequester have like flashing LEDs in them, and so I bought like blackout fabric it's like rubberized and so it like fully blocks light, and I like sewed. I have like a pocket that I sewed, like I lined. Perfect.
I love it.
I've got like an extra. I have I lined a whole piece of underwear that I'm just like I'm gonna wear every day on top of my actual underwear, so I can shove it in my pants. Like I also like lined a sports bra with it. That's something you can control, and I think that's the kind of shit that you want to pregame for. And
yeah, I love it. I love it. That's exactly what I like to see. Are you the kind of player like there's battle matches in the live version of the game. You've obviously dealt with Survivor challenges being a thing, but that adds a different element to the Sequester game that the minis don't have, which is that your perceived strength in battle matches may have an impact on your overall game. Do you have a strategy for that at all?
I mean, I think that like people might be worried about facing me in like more mind gamey kind of battle matches, but like for the most part my strategy is just to never get picked for one.
Yeah.
It's like truly the best thing you can do, and then like you get picked for one, you get dealt something random, you deal with it. But I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Last question. You make it to the final two. What's your pitch? How are you going to convince people to vote for you?
I mean, I don't think that I could tell you that now, not knowing how the game goes. Like I played ORGs online, like Online Survivor is what I played during quarantine, and like I played 7 different times, and all those times I was only ever voted out once. Half of them were anonymous, half of them were real ID. And like so I went really far in all of them. They were all like 20-person seasons. And like of all, like every time I played, I like half the time I was on the bottom and had to be scrappy. Half the time the most fun I had was when I was like in power and got to be super aggressive and like flashy the whole game. But like, my pitch each time it's different. It depends on like which games that I play, because if you played the aggressive side, you're going to end up at the end with somebody who played more of a scrappy game, and vice versa. And so your pitch ultimately has to be like it's two things. Your pitch has to be why you deserve it more than them, how you control the game more than they did, or more impressively. But also it's about your relationships with the jury. And I'm the kind of player who builds, in Sequester minis as well, and quite frankly in Survivor as well, I build really deep I don't do like the shallow everyone thing. I don't have the capacity for that. I do the really deep, like I'm with you. And that's worked for me. And that means that those people, when they eventually get to the jury, because, I don't want them at the final two with me, but when they get to the jury, they're also stumping for me. Like I stump for my allies if I'm on the jury. And so that's about it. It's about connecting with people and making them want me to win.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to watching you play. Thank you so much.
Thanks. It's good seeing you.
Yeah, good seeing you too.
Aaron, what's up? I just saw you.
I know, right? Well, can you just tell me your name, how old you are, and what you do?
Yeah, I'm 23 years old and social and brand management.
All right. Can you also tell me what is your history with Sequester? I know you, but what have you done in Sequester?
So I have played 4 Sequester mini games. I've won 2 of them, and that's my resume for Sequester.
Yeah. What do you think you've learned from those experiences in terms of like what you might do in this game?
I think from the times that I've won, I've learned the importance of building social connections. But also, I think by the times that I've lost, they've also taught me that you can't really hold those social connections too tight, and at some point you need to cut them. And so, in the game, I would definitely utilize both aspects of it, and hopefully, an equivalent of both. So yeah.
All right. Oh, how do you see yourself as a player in the game? Like, how do you view yourself as a player?
I think that's a tricky question for me, just because I haven't played in so long, and I think at one aspect I'm a completely like social player, and I think that my games that I've won were mainly due to my social connections that I've made in the game and making and formulating plans with them. But I also have some strategy in me that I feel like I haven't showcased, and that I'm super excited to do. And so it's a social mainly, but I really want to focus more on the strategy this time and doing what needs to be done for me to make it further in the game. And so having allies, that's always good and that's always great, but also knowing when times that I need to cut them as well.
Sounds good. How do you think other people or your other players are going to see you as a player?
Hopefully just a cute, young, cool guy. But I think coming in as a 2-time winner, I think that can have some people's thoughts on me from get-go. But I think if I can manage to get past the first round, I think because the question moves so fast that after the first round, they really won't be thinking of it. And so hopefully that will be how they view. Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite player from Big Brother, Survivor, or Sequester that you really like the game they played, or you feel like you might play similarly?
Yeah, I really love, of course, like Danielle Reyes. But from someone from Survivor that I really love is Brenda Lowe. She was from Survivor, Nicaragua. Mm-hmm. I feel like she's such an underrated player where not many people talk about her now. But I loved how sly and how sneakily that she did move. And in bold moments that she needed to pounce, she did. And she just played the game like aggressively when she had to, but also behind the scenes when she needed to as well. And so I love that aspect. And also Cameron from Sequester Season 2.
There you go. Do you have any specific strategies planned, either for like the specific twists or just like a general strategy?
Not for any specific twist, because I feel like a lot of times the games that people win or do well in is because of who they're playing in the game with. So I'm really excited to like formulate that plan whenever I see who I'm playing with. But a general strategy, I feel like from the start, I'm a social guy, so using that as much as I can so people won't throw my name out immediately, but also position my targets and have my targets in line with my alliance member targets, because I feel like some aspects that people can go wrong on is their agenda is not other people's agenda. And so if you make your agenda their agenda, then you kind of push your goal further. And so I really want to do more of that.
Yeah. So obviously, a layer of the game that doesn't exist in the minis is the battle matches. Battle matches are going to be a component of a live game, not only in the sense that you play in them and you can maybe win them, but also how people perceive you in terms of your competence in battle matches can have an impact on your social or strategic game. Is that something that you are thinking about? Like, how do you want people to perceive you when it comes to battle matches, and what are you going to do to try to make that happen?
So I want people to perceive me as a physical threat, as skinny and as scrawny that I may seem. One thing that I feel blessed to have are broad shoulders. So even going back to my shopping for this, I bought shirts that emphasize my shoulders. And that may sound so stupid, But if you're looking at, a person with broad shoulders, you're like, they can probably do a little something. You know what I mean? But battle matches, they do scare like the crap out of me because it's just the unpredictability of a regular kind of sequester. You can kind of influence certain things. But in battle match, it's kind of like you can do the best that you can. I think I'm agile and athletic to a certain extent. I did pick up jump roping before this. So hopefully the quick hand movements and the quick feet hopping will be beneficial for me.
There you go. So let's say you make it to the final two. What is your pitch for yourself? How do you convince people to vote for you? What is your plan?
I feel like a big thing in Sequester is telling a story from beginning to end. And so always keeping a mental catalog of what you've done, even if it's the smallest things, to connect with each person individually. But also I feel I want people to vote for me. So I'm not too, prideful to beg for votes at that point because I want that to happen. So, and also if I have done anyone wrong in the game, simply apologizing because I know that feelings are involved in this game. People will probably, vote emotionally. So also having that in the back of my mind, and if I need to apologize and be humble at certain moments to do that as well. But I think it's all about painting a story and painting, just taking them on a journey of beginning at point A to point B. And so, or from point A to point Z, depending on how.
Okay, well, let's say you don't make it to the final two. Instead, you make it to the jury. What is your philosophy as a member of the jury? What are you looking for to give your vote to somebody?
I'm looking for. Hopefully, I won't be voting bitter. Hopefully, no one pisses me off to that point. Fingers crossed. I don't think so. I feel like I'm a forgiving person if I just have one night of sleep. But I think I would like to know how like me as a person, how like was I intricate into your gameplay, or if I wasn't at all. And so how did you get around me or work with me to get yourself to that point? And so if someone can clearly illustrate how they either played me or worked with me, and then how it like whatever they did to me to get them there, I'll give them my vote.
All right. What if
I am the one? I am casting the vote. So that's when I can kind of be a little selfish and self-absorbed for a moment.
Well, what if they did upset you? What if they burned you bad and you're like, I'm upset about this? Is that going to impact your vote?
Fingers crossed that it doesn't. But when I am frustrated and pissed off, I do get in a tunnel mindset where I can only think about that one thing. And so, but like I said, if I have a night of sleep, I think hopefully I will get over it. And if they, feed my ego in the final jury thing and realize what they did and realize that I'm hurt, and like don't expect, because I made this bold and aggressive move towards you, it was strategic. I'm hoping that you will think like, Jacob should give me his vote. But hopefully they see the emotional side of this game as well. And thinking like, hey, that's not all you have to do to win, my vote. You have to like connect with me in different ways like that. So I feel like if they take all of the hurt and all the pain that they caused me and they talk about it or speak about it, then we're good. I like for my feelings to be known and to be heard.
Yeah.
And so when I said that's really big for me.
Yeah. Are you willing to burn people and stab them in the back? And
that's what I'm excited to do.
Mm.
Because I have not done that in a game like this. And so hopefully I'm not just like spitting shit, and hopefully I have like the cojones to actually do it when I'm in the game. And like hopefully no one's like, oh no, and I'm like, okay, never mind, So cross on that, because I'm really like, I really want to do it. It's something that like my teeth grind at night with excitement for it. So hopefully that will happen. But then I have to think about also, I feel like since I'm an emotional person, somewhat to a certain extent, I feel like knowing what I would want in a jury answer, because I'm hurt, I hopefully will, have that in my mind when I do hurt someone and send them to jury as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jacob. I'm looking forward to watching you. I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, I was in your draft for what is that War 1.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, fingers crossed for this one.